Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everyone. Woo!
Happy fucking New Year. Yeah. Happy New Year,
Woo!
Greg.
Happy New Year, Dorian.
Welcome to 2026.
Yes, sir. More of the same.
It's basically what the conversations have been that I've been having with my friends too.
Yep.
Like we made it through 2025. It's like, great, okay, for more?
Yep.
Like, let's see how I can get worse.
Well, I will say this much. During the break, I actually did sort of take a break this during our break. During these last couple of weeks, I did next to nothing other than hang out with my kid and go see fish for 3 nights.
Yeah.
So there was plenty of time for me to finally watch Pluribus.
Oh boy.
Let's do this. So
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna start by saying this. Okay. If you haven't seen the show, obviously there's going to be some spoilers here. So if you are interested in seeing Pluribus and have not yet, I probably wouldn't listen to the rest of this
Yeah,
episode.
probably not.
Or you can listen to this episode and hear a bunch of nonsense about why you should or shouldn't watch Pluribus. Since this seems to be a very, very decisive television,
Divisive. Yeah.
divisive. That's the word I wanted. Television show. So I'm going to start by saying, Dorian, I am highly disappointed in you
Okay.
because I would think that someone with such a keen eye for grand storytelling and cinematography would be impressed by this show.
Hmm.
And yet you are not.
No, I'm the opposite of impressed. I actually, yeah, I actively dislike this show.
All right. Okay. So the thing that you've said to me over and over and over and over again is that nothing happens in the show. But yet, as I watch, I see our star, I can't remember her name now, but Carol, is her name Carol in the show?
Hmm.
Right? I see her trying to figure out what the fuck's going on and her stumbling onto their food source and working through interpersonal relationships with her chaperone and her exile after she forcefully injects her with truth serum,
Hmm.
and then her losing her mind through loneliness after 40 days of being alone. And like these are all events that occur throughout the show.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not just like somebody staring at the screen for an hour per episode. Like, of course, things are happening, but they don't move the characters or the narrative forward in any significant or meaningful way.
Well, it's all
So
preamble.
it's just stuff. You know, it's not development. It's not meaningful. You know, it's just, sure, she's going about her life, but like, I don't know, watching her hit golf balls and like be impressed how quickly they can restock a grocery store, like just doesn't contribute anything meaningful to like the world, the texture, the characters, or the story.
Huh.
And like, if
What?
you're not adding anything to any of those, then like, what? I don't know what I'm watching for,
Well,
you know?
Here's how I see this. The entire first season, this entire first season is you have this event that occurs. Every human on the planet minus 12 or whatever
Hmm.
basically merges into one hive
Hive
mind
mind. Yeah.
situation thing, whatever, right? And then what unfolds is mostly Carol's experience on how to deal with this new reality that lays in front of her. Why is it happening? What is happening? How? What? Why? How? All of the things. And then obviously, so the the whole episode where she's alone
Hmm.
That spans a great period of time. And so you see her having fun at first and then slowly sort of like going cuckoo bananas as she's like singing at the top of her lungs and hitting golf balls into windows and
I will say that going into the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum and replacing the print she had of a painting with the actual original painting, I was like, that's great. Like,
yeah.
I would,
Well, one of my favorite things in that episode specifically was the voicemail message playing in its entirety over and over and over and over and over.
okay, this might be just like the perfect, I don't know, just like distillation of like our separation on this show because
You didn't find that? You
repetition I fucking hate. Like,
Oh,
oh, it drives me crazy.
all right.
Like
So,
I almost turned that episode off because of that voicemail
see,
message.
that's
I
to
was
me, that's
like
the
when I
best.
heard it for the eighth time, I was like, why am I watching this? Like, what do I
Yeah.
care about?
Here's my grand summation of how I perceive this whole thing. And you're gonna hate me for this, but I if you take a second to really think about it, I bet you can understand where I'm coming from. If Alfred Hitchcock was alive today and was given the artistic freedom to create a show such as this is essentially the show he would create.
No,
Yeah, of course
I
you're gonna.
disagree.
Here's the
Hitchcock was much more, he had much more of an interest in keeping the audience actively very engaged, and actually his entire approach to filmmaking was based around the fact that the audience actually had more information than the characters. And that's where all the suspense was derived from. Was like, actually, we knew that the bomb was in the briefcase. The character didn't.
sure.
That's where all the suspense comes from. So he was actually very much into giving the audience as much information as possible.
Okay, that's fair, but I guess the way that I think about it is one, I think about the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about the pacing of a Hitchcock movie, they are generally very slow until the last 20 minutes, and they're very uh, 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 but in good
Mm-hmm.
ways, right? And you get these little seeds of information, however you see fit, right? But also, I also think about the look of the show. There was a lot of these very, very, very grandiose, overblown scenes of like, big landscapes or like the big supermarket, like
Mm-hmm.
like the cinematography went from like so big to like so small very often. And like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like the window peering scenes and like little like hyper sharp close-ups of different things. And so I think from like a cinematography or a directing whatever visual perspective, it felt very Hitchcockian. But
Mm-hmm.
the way that like see the question that I would say is like Hitchcock created for the medium of his time. And now fast forward 50 years later, 60 years later, whatever, however long it's been, like there are no time limits. And what would somebody like Hitchcock do if he was told he had 10 hours to develop, a premise
Mm-hmm.
and not to finish a premise, but to just develop it? Because we all know that this show is going to be X amount of seasons, 3, 4, 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and I'll use another modern or current show as sort of a supporting argument for why I see no problems with the way that this show is slowly building. Because what happens all too often to a lot of these breakout shows, they fizzle out at the end because they think they know what they're doing, but they don't exactly know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, Stranger Things and so many other shows, they lose their way in on the back third of the show's existence.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Vince is pacing himself in a way where if we do this slowly and we do this the right way, we can actually finish this show the right way. And so I think you're seeing a show that's being paced deliberately so that way it doesn't suck when it comes to the end.
Right. So it sucks at the start.
Well, I, I don't think it sucks. I think it's
Yeah.
brilliant, but I'm just saying that I don't disagree with the pacing
Mm-hmm.
of it.
guess.
I find it amusing and also entertaining to see something so just like so not in a hurry to get where it needs to go.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, like, I don't have the same level of like trust or reverence for Vince Gilligan that you do. Having not been a fan of Better Call Saul, things like that. It's like, so I don't go into his stuff assuming that I'm not being led astray,
Yeah.
because I feel that I have been in the past. So for me personally, like, I need a lot more from a first season to get me invested in, like, I'm gonna watch 30 more hours of this, because like that is an insane amount of time to commit to a story that you don't like,
Fair.
so if I don't like, I've committed 10 hours to this, or 9 hours. It's been 9 episodes, and
Mm-hmm.
they're 45 minutes, so let's call it 7.5.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Even so, that is an enormous amount of time that I've invested in attempting to get into this story, and it just hasn't really happened yet. So there's things about it that I like, but overall it's not nearly interesting enough for me to want to continue down this path with,
Well,
and continue to invest time into.
I can't wait for season 2 to come out.
It'll be a couple of years.
It might be. I don't
yeah.
know. This show, they might be able to knock this show out pretty quickly. There's not a bunch of special effects or anything going on.
There's a lot of like pretty big budget stuff happening on the show. I mean, a lot of like multiple locations. Like, they've traveled all over the fucking world.
Yeah.
I think they might have hit every continent on this one. But obviously, Apple's giving them all the money in the world to produce it. But yeah, I think I saw something that it's like they haven't even like come close to finishing writing season 2 yet. So
okay.
I think it's still going to be a while.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'll continue.
Well,
I'm sure they'll wait as long as is necessary, which is good too. I'd appreciate, if he's got some grand plan, like, give him the time to do it right. Like, don't rush it out of the gate. I'd rather see it, put together properly if he's got like a real vision for like the long-term goal of this thing. But from watching this first season, I don't get a strong enough sense that like there really is a long-term vision for this show and where it's headed. It, to me, kind of feels like it's spinning its wheels and trying to figure it out as it goes along.
well, oof. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the impression I got from it. Yeah. As I was watching it.
Yeah. You have, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the second season holds, because, I mean, I look at it in a couple of different ways. One, you have your main character, and she's confronted with a new reality. You have these secondary characters who share in her reality but don't share in her plight, I suppose. And then you have obviously the what's that word I'm looking for? You have the counterpart to all of that, which is the hive mind alien virus thing and all those people. And you learn more about what they, like the whole thing, like the whole kind of process on the back half of the season where what do I actually know about these people? And so she's like actually writing through and cataloging all of the things that she learns about them. And so I think you need the show to kind of pace itself the way it has, so that way all of the facts about what is actually going on actually makes sense. So like their inability to lie, their inability to kill or hurt anything, or pick fruit off a tree, and like and on and on we go. Like all of the, like, each of those facts mean something in the grand scheme of, I guess, the story, and they need they can't just be forced in,
Hmm.
ad hoc. So it's like, I don't know. I very much enjoyed the show.
Hmm.
Dorian very much did not.
Not so much. Yeah.
Stay tuned for episode, I don't know, 190 when season 2 comes out, and
Yeah.
we
Right.
can argue some more about the genius of Vince Gilligan.
Yeah. You can tell me all about it because I won't be watching.
Oh, boo.
Yeah. I don't, in general, I have to say too, just like episodic stuff, it's just not my thing. I just don't really like it for the most part. I don't find most of it to be good enough to like get thoroughly invested in for the amount of time that it requires. And like whenever I do, I usually find like for the most part that I feel like more than 50% of what I watched was filler. That was like totally unnecessary, wasn't particularly entertaining, didn't
Well,
particularly add anything of like real texture or value like to the story or the characters.
can I
And so in general, like episodic stuff for me is just it's a very much an uphill battle,
Well, you're
for any
watching
episodic
it,
thing.
but okay, so you just pointed out maybe a flaw in your thinking in general is,
Well, maybe not a flaw, maybe just, a difference of opinion.
well, but you're watching it through the lens of a movie director, and it's a different medium.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't mean it needs to be boring. Because I've seen shows that have done it, even Vince's. I think Breaking Bad does a great job of balancing all of those different elements into something that manages to
Okay, let me ask you a
weave
question though.
itself throughout the course of the series into things that constantly
How
develop and improve.
When did you start watching Breaking Bad?
Um,
Did you watch it from day one?
Not from day one,
Yeah.
but it wasn't that far into it. It was maybe like maybe season 2 had concluded when we started watching it.
That changes things. When you start the show, definitely changes how it impacts you, because when you're able to watch a bunch of episodes all together, all of the things that seem like
sure,
filler have their context shortly thereafter as to why they're not filler. So when you're watching a show like this, it probably is beneficial to somebody like you to binge the first 2 seasons. So then that way you're not drowning in your own, piss and vinegar of why is this happening? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely agree that it alters that, but there's also been shows that have had several seasons that have aired that I've tried watching, and within the first season or so, been like, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
you're all crazy.
It's an interesting thing to me, because I remember for the life of me, for the longest time growing up, especially when a lot of like these major books were being adapted to film, and people would always bitch and complain about how much detail was left out of a movie, and you're seeing sort of the polar opposite here, where it's like there's so much detail. Why do I need all of this? Uh,
Yeah, I just
I'm sure there's
like
a sweet spot somewhere in the middle, but
right, yeah, and like depending on the type of story you're telling, like I don't particularly find this world to be rich enough to require that much detail. Like I got it pretty quickly. Things like that. I will say the hilarious thing about Pluribus, and maybe this is the genius of Vince Gilligan, is that in my dislike of the show, he has forced me to identify completely with the main character of the show, where it's like everybody on Earth is like, "This is great. Why don't you like it?" And I'm like, "No, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're wrong." So I
mean,
completely
that's the whole
understand
point of the fucking
so
show. Is
my
like,
dislike of the show very much aligns me with Carol's way of thinking.
Yeah.
So there is that.
and it's funny because usually I'm that guy, but in this instance, I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, because I've talked to several other people too. They're like, "Oh, you don't like Pluribus?" And I'm like, "No." And then it's funny because then I'll ask them, like, "What do you like about it?" And they're like, "I don't know. It's on." I'm like, "Okay, great."
See.
We've gotten to the point where we are now the dogs with the TV on in the background, so we don't feel lonely.
See, that's the thing, though. Is I don't ever watch TV. I've gone out of my way to watch this show. I don't watch TV basically at all anymore, and I went out of my way to watch this show because I heard that like the season premiere was like being heralded as like one of the greatest like series premieres ever, and that it was so out of the box that it was worth, making an effort on. And
Mm,
I thought that I thought that it well, I thought that that was all blown out of proportion, but I was very intrigued by the show, and I've actually liked the
mm.
show more as it's gone on. I like the season premiere is just like, oh, crazy alien virus invasion. Okay,
Right,
great,
yeah.
whatever. But as the show's played out, I'm so intrigued by it because of how different it is, but also because of like how it's it's the antithesis to like all other media that's being produced right now. And it's like it's almost it's in a weird way, in a weird way, it is it is like TV's version of punk rock. It's so different and so anti everything else that's being put out in front of us right now. That's so fast and so flash bang boom and so instant gratification. And this thing is just like, fuck no. You actually have to pay attention, and you're going to sit here and you're going to fucking deal with the fact that this thing moves at a snail's pace. And for whatever reason, the true counter minded person that I am thinks that that is the greatest thing ever because it's challenging the audience, and that's to me, I very much enjoy that mentality. And so I think in that sense I'm willing to go for the ride because just based on that premise alone. But I do think that it's well acted, and I think it's well shot, and I think it's got just enough humor in it and just enough like, ooh, what's about to happen in it, even though it doesn't ever get too far in that realm, but it does every once in a great while.
I
It's like,
never felt
ooh.
that for a
I
second.
mean, dude, the fucking giant freezer full of dead bodies. Ooh, what's gonna happen? You know?
The tone of the show immediately led me to believe that this was going to be like not a big deal at all, and then it turns out it's not a big deal at all
What?
because they're like, no, we can't kill anyone. We're just using
Yeah, we're
product that's available.
yeah, but that's
People die, so
yeah, but I mean, have you ever in your life or in your experience heard cannibalism rationalized so politely?
the movie Snowpiercer uh, very much traffics in the same idea.
Okay, I've never seen that,
um,
but
yeah, numerous novels I think have come about this same idea. It's a lot of the show feels very familiar to me.
well, I'm sure it
I gotta
borrows from
say,
a lot of different things, but
yeah, like I wish I could get behind what you just said
yeah.
because I wish it was a challenging show. I just yeah, I don't know. Challenging isn't isn't the word for
Well,
um
what if I mail you a 3 month prescription of Ritalin or something, and maybe you can calm down a little bit and you can settle in. I'm just
it's
fucking-
not good, dude. Yeah, because I hate all the flashbang shit too. Like also on Apple TV, we watched. I've several friends have like raved to me about F1,
I don't even know
um,
what that is.
the Brad Pitt movie about
Uh,
Formula One racing that just came out as another. It was an Apple production, but it was
yeah.
it was a summer movie, and there were a lot of people who were like, look, it feels like a summer blockbuster movie again, and we just don't get that a lot anymore. And I was
We
like,
don't?
okay, if that's
Isn't every movie a summer blockbuster?
yeah, but they don't. But they all feel cheap and
Yeah,
kind of like
okay.
trivial as a result.
I
Like
see.
they were like, this one actually feels like that sense you used to get when it was like this is like spectacle filmmaking,
Like Independence
that
Day and all that bullshit.
totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Like everybody on Earth is going to go watch this movie.
Well,
It
that's
will
just
be
never going to happen.
right,
Yeah.
except while Avatar is doing it again.
I mean, I'm not going to go watch Avatar.
No, but
How many people has it broken a bunch of records?
it's already broken $1 billion at the box office. It's like James Cameron and Taylor Swift are the only two that can bring people into movie theaters anymore. It's basically the two of them.
Well,
And for some reason, and for some reason, James Cameron is directing a Billie Eilish concert documentary. It's like, dude, if you and Taylor teamed up, you'd be unstoppable.
Taylor doesn't need anyone. I mean, she
It's true.
put her own stuff out. I don't know who actually
Yeah.
helped her with it, but
It's true. Actually,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not a fan of her music, but she makes some of the most like brilliant business moves.
Yeah.
You know, consistently, like mad respect for her, but especially with her tour movie.
Yeah.
That was like a huge deal, like really cool thing that she did, that she just bypassed all the studios because they all told her like, no, we've got other stuff we're releasing, you know, we can get it out later. And then her and her team were like, no, it has to come out like now. You know, like the tour just ended. Everyone's still talking about it. If we wait a year, all the buzz is dead. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Put it out now. And they were all like, no. So she went straight to the movie theaters. She went straight to AMC and said like, hey, you're probably tired of getting fucked by the studios because they take most of the ticket sales. And it was like, hey, what if we just came straight to you and you were the distributor for this film, like the movie theaters, and then you got to keep all the ticket sales, you know, or we'd split it in a way more egalitarian fashion than the studios are offering. And they did this deal, and then the movie made like hundreds of millions of fucking dollars, and everybody got rich.
Yeah.
You know,
well, good for her.
So
yeah, I mean,
yeah, it was really, like really cool.
She just put out another, like a documentary thing. I don't know what it even is, but I think it came out like right before Christmas, and it was like a 6-part thing on Disney, I believe. So there's more stuff that she's like putting out there. It maybe has to do with the new album. I have no idea, but
sure.
I mean, that girl just doesn't stop. She's insane. So
for real, but yeah, it's wild though. But yeah, anyway, F1 sucked. But
speaking of ticket sales, did you know that the Stranger Things? No, before we start, you're not on social media, so I don't even know if you know about this or not. But before I bring this part up, I'm just going to say the Stranger Things finale, air quotes, aired in theaters.
Yeah,
and apparently, I don't know how true this is, but it grossed like 25 million in the theaters in like one day.
That's pretty wild. Yeah.
But because it's Netflix and because of like how, I don't know, there's some sort of thing, like apparently the theaters got like almost all the money. I don't know if that was just Netflix donating the money to the theaters.
Holy shit, yeah, that's wild.
But there was some weird thing about how like, Stranger Things made like 25 million and the theaters got most of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, that's great. I hope they'd be making good deals for them because, yeah, normally the way it works is that for the first week that a movie is in a theaters, every ticket, every dollar of ticket sales, 90 cents goes to the studio and 10 cents goes to the movie theater.
Oh, wow.
So it is, yeah, and that's the whole first. So all of opening weekend, all those giant box office numbers you see, like the actual movie theaters showing those movies, at best are getting 10% of that.
Holy shit!
And so that's why concessions are,
and then the percentage shifts on
over time. Yeah, so like second week they might get 20%, and then by the time no one gives a shit, it's sure, keep all of it for the 6 people that are going to show up. So that's why they push concessions so much. That's why you get the roller coaster through the Cokes and popcorns and shit. That's actually their lifeblood.
That's where they make their money. Yeah, I mean that's just like anything. I mean, concert venues are the same way,
right? Yeah,
the promoter.
So Netflix is offering way better deals on that type of stuff. Like that's really cool because I've been kind of under the impression that like Netflix doesn't really care too much about theatrical. It's kind of one of those things they do to please sort of like the legacy audience, as they call us.
Yeah, I think that was I mean that was definitely their whole thing, was like this should be a communal experience. And then they had like I'm pretty sure, I don't know how many of the actors like just surprise like popped up in like random theaters.
Oh, that's cool.
I saw the video of Gelman, right? Is that his name? Brad Gelman?
Oh yeah,
Murray, or right, I think is his name in Stranger Things. I can't remember. I'm so bad with names, but he like showed up in this like, because it was on New Year's Eve, and so he showed up in this like baby blue like jumpsuit, almost looking like Elvis with like sequins on it and shit, and his like beer belly's like sticking out of the shirt. And I was like, "What are you doing?"
That's awesome.
It was hilarious.
You just disrupt the movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool too that it the screenings in theaters coincided with the time that it went live on Netflix.
Yeah.
So it was like 7 p.m. for like everybody, whether you were watching at home or in the theater. Like nobody got it first, Yeah. So I thought that was cool. That definitely incentivized, I think, the theatrical, because it wasn't one of those like, oh, well, I could watch it, I'm going to have to avoid spoilers online for 2 days so I can go see it in the theater on Friday. It's like, no, none of that. Like, nobody knows until the same time.
Yeah. So
that was very smart.
Here's the thing. Since you're not on social media, you may not have been sucked into this rabbit hole. But do the words conformity gate mean anything to you?
Oh, no. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the conformity gate.
Well, I'm
excited to find out.
When we get off, you can go search your heart's content and find all the conspiracy theories about how the season finale was not, in fact, not the season finale.
Oh. Gotcha.
There is a massive like groundswell that the actual season finale or series finale will be airing. What day is it today? Will be airing tomorrow, January 7th.
Oh, okay.
And that what we all watched on New Year's Eve or maybe the day after, like I did because I was busy,
was some like Vecna hallucination of
exactly.
reality.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And there's like all these, I mean, people.
God bless them.
It is incredible to me the length at which people, when they invest themselves into something, will just dissect the balls out of it. Like, it is just incredible. But some of these videos, they'll have like 13 examples why episode 8 was all just one giant memory created by Vecna. And it goes down to like tiny little details that may or may not be intentional. Things like the way everyone was sitting at the graduation, or the fact that every main character had a person behind them wearing glasses, or the hairdos of all the people in the future. And then like there's like a dial or something, and the color changed on the dial, and the color changed on this other thing from like past episodes to this episode, and and on and on we go. So, I mean,
it's one of those delightful, like if you applied yourself this much just in your regular life, like you'd be doing like such a massive success in whatever it is you're doing. But somehow it all got funneled into this one weird conspiracy. Yeah,
into nonsense.
That's hilarious.
I do find it all very humorous and entertaining. And who knows? Maybe there's one more. Oh, this is the other funny one. If you type fake ending into the Netflix search bar, Stranger Things pops up. Yeah.
This is awesome. You know what?
A whole thing. It is a whole fucking thing. I spent maybe 20 minutes yesterday because, the thing with like Instagram now, if you stop on something, it's going to give you more of what you stopped on.
Oh, okay.
So I stopped on one thing for Conformity Gate, and then bombs away, baby. We were off to the races, and I like all these nerds and all these people being like, "There's gonna be another episode." Blah, 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 blah. This is why. Blah, 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 blah. The Duffer Brothers are trolling everyone, and this and that, and it's hilarious.
Oh man. I wonder what they're going to say tomorrow when the episode doesn't happen.
Well, that's the thing, right?
It's going to be one of those. This is going to be like the Rapture. It's like no, we read it wrong. It's actually, 2027 because we didn't factor in the leap year. So
yeah, there's all sorts of stuff, and there's going to be a lot of sad nerds tomorrow if this episode doesn't come out, and. Conversely,
the fake ending thing is great. I love that.
If they pulled it off, the Duffer Brothers go down in history as having the biggest set of fucking balls on the planet. Because think about this: you just had $25 million worth of people come to see your season finale in a theater, and it's not the actual season finale. So it's a win-win and a lose-lose all at the same time. And I'm here for it one way or the other. So.
Dude, that'd be. I mean, honestly, if that proves to be real, and like there's this other episode tomorrow, I might actually watch this season. Like I was not. I kind of lost interest a while ago.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched any of the newer ones. And if they did something like this, though, I don't know. Sometimes I like a gimmick, and that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, this season felt like one giant misdirect after another. Every time
Hmm.
you're like, okay, I think I know what's going on. It went in a completely different direction. And there's a lot of goofiness and a lot of like like I brought up earlier, like, okay, we lost steam. We gotta like
Hmm.
we're reaching now to try to figure out how to fucking finish this show.
Right.
And so all of that could be fixed by some crazy left turn surprise episode of just chaos. Because like the finale itself, like half of it was a 2 hour long episode. Half
Hmm.
of the episode is the actual like resolution to the whole upside down thing.
Okay.
And then the second half of the episode is the longest prologue you've ever seen in your life. It's 45 minutes of them in the future. And like
Oh.
what happened to this person, what happened to that, so there's like substantial closure on every character in one way or another.
Hmm.
And then there's this sort of they kind of went Sopranos on the fate of 11.
Okay.
It's very did she die? Did she not die? Up. They went Sopranos on it. They might as well have gone black.
Hmm. Sure.
You don't
Yeah.
know. You don't actually know what happens.
Don't
So
stop
yeah, exactly. If they
believing.
started playing that song, because it's all time correct music. So don't stop.
Hmm.
That song came out in the '70s, so they very well that if they had done that, that would have been the biggest set of brass balls on the fucking planet.
Right.
That would have been fucking epic.
Yeah.
But yeah. So big week in TV.
Hmm. I the only thing I heard about it was so I got my haircut on New Year's Eve and I was asking my barber what he was doing and he was like, I'm going to see the Stranger Things finale in 4DX.
Uh,
He was super hyped about it and I was asking him about like, oh, how's the season been? Blah blah blah, just making small talk and stuff. And he's like, yeah, it's been okay. And he's like, but I'll tell you what, the internet has been giving Millie hell for getting those lip fillers.
Dude, she looks ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah,
and I don't want to. I'm not gonna like pile on to the whole like you know, over analyzing a woman's looks, especially a young teenager,
sure.
however old she is now.
Yeah,
But
it's do whatever you want, but
yeah,
you knew you were going to be playing a 13-year-old on television again. You
yeah.
know, like
Well, the final season is like 3 years later, so they are
okay,
like they're about to graduate, or no,
sure.
I guess no, because the graduation was 18 months later. I don't even know. There's multiple timelines and there's multiple things happening, but either way, there were some odd choices made there as far
Hmm.
as her presentation and so on. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
I don't want to piss
gotcha.
anybody off by talking down on this poor young girl. I will
Yeah,
say,
maybe we don't
I
need
will
to-
say though, she has grown up into quite the what's the right way to say this?
Hmm.
She's the exact opposite of 11. The real life Millie Bobby Brown is very loud and boisterous,
Hmm.
and I've seen her in a couple of interviews now, and she's kind of got that like Northern England sort of rah 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 rah.
Yeah,
Like not Cockney, but like I'm like watching it, and I was like, this is the girl that plays 11.
yeah.
Like she's
Like, damn, hell of an actor. Yeah.
there you go. You are a fantastic actress, Millie
Yep.
Bobby Brown,
I
because for
remember.
you to conceal that mouth in the way you speak in such subdued ways on that show is very impressive.
Hmm. Yeah, I had a friend who, when There Will Be Blood came out, I had a friend who didn't think Daniel Day-Lewis was that great in it. And then we were watching the Academy Awards together, and when he came up to accept his award, and my friend heard him actually just speak as like a normal person for the first time, he's like, I was completely wrong. This guy deserves every award.
Yeah.
It's like you just the disparity between who this person actually is and what they were
Yeah.
playing is when you see it like that live, that large, it's really staggering sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah.
she has grown into quite the exuberant young
Mm.
lady.
Sweet. Well, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
she's having a good run at it. So yeah, take
yeah.
advantage. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Um, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, how was your New Year's? Did you guys do anything for New Year's or just
My New
hanging
Year's
out?
was incredible. It was
Nice.
exhausting.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, I know what you were up to. Yeah.
I read a stat. Uh, you know, when I go to these affairs, i.e., fish at the garden, generally speaking, I am under the influence of certain things that will manipulate time in interesting ways.
Mm.
And so some nights, an hour can feel like a minute, and then in other moments, a minute can feel like a lifetime. I experienced both over the course of 3 nights. But I will say that the New Year's night itself not only felt long, but was incredibly long to the point
Mm.
where I guess they broke their own record for the longest concert ever at the Garden.
No shit.
It clocked in at just under 4.5 hours total.
Wow.
So
Three sets that night.
yeah, 3 sets,
The
but they
third
were
night. Yeah.
all long. Like normally they'll shorten the middle set depending on what like this like. So they've started doing a different thing with the New Year's over the last few years as they've become more theatrical and more elaborate, where sometimes the gag might actually start in the second set. And then
Okay.
they still take a set break, and then the gag continues into the third set, into the actual New Year's thing. So, also, this one wasn't very production heavy, so there wasn't a big changeover that they needed to do. So that also comes into play.
Mm.
Like when I'm trying to think here. Uh, when like when I saw Gamehenge, I mean that was just it was everything was happening and it was so over the top and the giant
Yeah.
rhombus and this thing and there's all all sorts of things happening. But this one was very straightforward from a production standpoint. The only production element to speak of was a giant milk carton on an automated system that was
Okay.
literally pouring fake milk all over the stage.
Nice.
And then
Like,
exactly.
really
I
leaning
mean,
into the Vermont thing. Yeah.
well, so here's the thing. Okay. So Fish is the greatest band in the world purely because nothing they do is A to B. There's always multiple roads to be traveled in everything that they do.
Mm.
One person's night could be the greatest night ever. The next person's night could be the worst night ever. A jam can feel transcendent to some and boring to others. And that's sort of the beauty of it all, right? It's this wide open, abstract experience. Now, on New Year's, generally speaking, it is a very sort of obvious what their intentions are for whatever it is that they're trying to do. So in years past, they've made it rain on stage during a song called Petrichor, which has the actual word petrichor means something. It's some type of rainfall or something. I can't remember.
Mm.
Or it has some sort of water illusions. I don't remember what the word itself means, but they used like these little like pellets and it was like little soft foam pellets and it was raining all over the stage and they had these like choreographed dancers with umbrellas and it was this whole thing. It's very to the point, right? One year they did the meat stick, but internationally. So whereas like the meat stick originated in Japan, they opened it up to multiple countries and they had different performers singing the meat stick
Oh,
in
nice.
different languages. And
Oh, that's funny.
they did the Gamehenge saga a few years ago. And that is what it even though it's completely out of this world, it's obvious that okay, this is Gamehenge.
Yeah.
One year they did sort of like this split personality thing where leading into New Year's, it was Mercury, which is a song that basically utilizes the word Mercury in every sense that it can be used in. So the planet,
Okay.
the element, um, the
Uh,
whatever. There was like
yeah.
four or five different.
Mercurial would be sort of
Yeah, there's
also a
four or five
descriptive
different
adjective. Yeah.
references for Mercury like that can be
Hmm.
used, and so they did this whole
The god. Yeah, I
very
guess.
like they did this very sort of theatrical high art, so to speak, performance of Mercury that then transitioned into a song called Santos that was where the chorus is "This is what space smells like," and they just had random chaos like inflatables falling onto the stage of different things that space could smell like. So like slices of pizza and hot dogs and lollipops and all sorts of just it was just chaos, right?
Yeah.
So that was sort of like a schizophrenic, but each
Real
one,
quick, I have to mention Hannah actually has a perfume called Space that was designed with actual astronauts
oh wow,
to capture what astronauts say it smells like in space.
interesting. Does
So
it
yeah,
smell
so we
good?
it's divisive.
Okay.
It's a weird smell,
Yeah.
but it's very distinct also, and it's kind of one of those like I feel, for me personally, it seems more like this was probably what like a spaceship smells like,
Yeah.
or like a space suit or like recycled air, kind of, in a sense,
Okay.
things like that. Obviously, you're
Yeah.
not gonna, you can't breathe in space, so there's no way to smell space, I guess,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is apparently astronauts say this is kind of like what just being in space generally smells like.
Okay.
So yeah, it's odd.
So
I like
yes.
Fish's approach better. It sounds way more appealing. Yeah.
Well,
It's-
it was very goofy, tongue in cheek. But generally speaking, the New Year's performances are pretty, even going back to the old days where it was the time machine or there was one year where fucking they did Seven Below and it snowed and they had these giant snow walker things and it was this sort of,
Hmm.
but it's always pretty on the nose. Nothing too, you don't have to think too hard about what's going on.
Yeah.
This year felt a little different
Hmm.
because it started during the second set with a song called It's Ice. And just randomly, towards the end of the song, a milkman came out ringing a bell. He was all dressed up in white, right? Like think like old-timey milkman, right?
Yeah.
So, like, okay, things are happening. Like, it's ice. We have a milkman on stage, so the obvious thing is going to be Harry Hood probably.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and then the second song was Cream by Prince, the cover. So it's ice cream, right?
Okay.
But the it got sort of wacky. So that was the end of the second set. And then the third set started with a few more milkmen. And then all of these milk cartons descended onto the stage and they started doing Harry Hood. And
Hmm.
they did this like straight up, like the milk cartons fell down and it was these performers all in white. And they did this really elaborate ballet, essentially, like interpretive ballet dance during
Yeah. To
Harry
Harry
Hood,
Hood.
which was
Damn.
cool.
That's
And
rad.
the fucking giant milk carton is floating around and it's dumping milk onto the stage. It was just like sheen fabric or whatever, but it was like and it
Uh-huh.
was and so it seemed innocent enough until they did Tweezer, or no, they didn't do Tweezer yet. They did 2001. And during 2001, the milkmen started gathering up all the people and they brought out this freezer. So we knew that they were going to do Tweezer at some point, right? But so they're
Sure.
doing 2001 and they're gathering up all the dancers and they're cramming them into a freezer, right? And I was like, this is kind of weird, right?
Okay.
So then Trey goes over to the drum kit, Fishman gets off the drum kit, and in the middle of 2001, they start doing this countdown initiation, right? So this is how they're going to
Hmm.
get into the New Year's countdown.
Okay.
Fishman is about to ride a rocket ship into space, right? So he's got a donut space helmet that he puts on, and
Hmm.
a bomb pop
Oh
comes
yeah.
out of the freezer, right? Red, white, and blue. And then once the New Year's thing happens, and Fishman goes into the freezer. There's a elevated platform that goes up and down. So the performers are going down, the ice creams are popping up. There's this whole thing. So when Fishman goes down, he's got the space helmet on. When the bomb pop goes off for liftoff, it's Fishman riding the rocket ship like a cowboy, but it's a mannequin Fishman, right? With a
Okay.
cowboy hat. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, okay, there's a lot of
It's like Doctor
weird,
Strangelove style. Yeah.
yeah, but there's a lot of like weird, like the whole thing is basically a giant allegory for what's going on politically right now with like ICE and but
Okay.
this was like kind of like where it like the payoff kind of happened. So after Fishman rides the rocket ship, like if he's like almost like he's like Elon Musk or something, right? Like he's the cowboy, he's going to take us all into space, you know?
Hmm.
And then once Tweezer starts, for each verse of Tweezer, a different international group pops out of the freezer. And then the milkmen are chasing all of these foreigners around on stage while they're singing Tweezer in their respective languages. And the
Okay.
Mexicans got the biggest pop of the night, let me tell you,
That's incredible actually.
right? But it gets better. So, to sort of misdirect or make it not so obvious what their intentions are, not
Hmm.
only they happen to be the international dancers from the Meat Stick show 10 years ago or however long ago it's been now, right?
Mm.
So they were a callback to a prior New Year's gag.
Sure.
From there, other callbacks started popping out of the freezer. And one year they did they've done it twice now, maybe. I gotta go back and look at this stuff because my memory's so foggy. But Tom Hanks has been potentially a part, two different Tom Hanks characters. Maybe one of them
Heard
was
about
cast,
this.
one of them was Castaway, which was like the Wilson thing, right?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
there might have been another one where it was either Tom Hanks himself or another character that Tom Hanks played. But
Okay.
during the Uncle Ebenezer line in Tweezer, Forrest Gump with a Bubba Gump hat comes out, but it's a red hat, so he looks like a MAGA guy.
Uh-huh.
So it's like old Forrest Gump comes out, and like everyone boos him and like jams him back into the freezer. And then from there, more characters from New Year's past start popping out of the freezer. So like a lizard and a sloth from Gamehenge, the petrichor dancer with the umbrella, a hot dog popped out from the original like New Year's
Old school.
94
Yeah.
because everyone thought there was a rumor that they were bringing the hot dog back because it apparently periodically they take the hot dog down at the Rock and
Mm.
Roll Hall of Fame to like clean
Uh,
it and stuff. They have to like take it down to clean it.
sure.
And so they just happened to take it down right around New Year's. And so everyone thought that the hot dog was coming back, but instead they just had a dancer dressed up in a hot dog outfit. And then there was like the clones, there was like the Trey clone, and like so basically almost every New Year's past was accounted for in one way or another.
Wow.
And they had all these different callbacks popping out of the freezer until eventually the milkmen finally got them all back into the freezer. And then that was sort of the end of the gag, except on the side of the milk carton, you remember how when we were kids, they
Missing
used
persons. Yeah.
missing persons? So this was sort of the coup de grace of the whole thing. The missing person, so to speak, on the side of this milk carton was Spock's brain. And
Mm.
it's like here's the thing. They could have picked any song in their library, in their repertoire, whatever. There are much bigger bust outs to behold. Like this song had only not been played for like 6 years. It hasn't been that long since they
Oh,
played
okay.
Spock's Brain in like 2019 or something like that. But it's like the whole idea of it was like, whether it's the president or whether it's America or whether it's just everybody, but like they chose a song saying his brain is missing
Yeah,
on
we're
top of
yeah,
all
right.
of this chaos that's going on around them.
Hmm.
So, and maybe this is my version of the Stranger Thing nerds, but a lot of other people picked up on it too. So it
Sure.
wasn't just
Yeah.
me.
No, it
It's
sounds.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and Fish is not known for their political satire or their social commentary almost in any regard. So this
Yeah.
was sort of them dipping a toe in a very, very, very like nice way of being like, it's crazy what's going on out there right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Bringing like the milkmen out to the song "It's Ice,"
yeah,
and then having them chase a bunch of like international concerns around the stage. It's like
yeah,
I think you're. Yeah. I think
yeah,
you're onto something.
yeah, exactly. So I read somebody that I follow put it perfectly because there are different variations of Fish New Year's themes. There's the elaborate, there is the theatrical, there is the chaotic. And
Hmm.
this was the perfect like version of kind of all of them,
Marriage. Yeah.
but really at the end of the day, it was just chaos for like 45 minutes.
Damn.
Because you had like a 20-minute long Harry Hood. And the cool part about this gag specifically was that because it didn't really involve the band at all,
They could play.
they could just play. And
Cool.
there wasn't this like queuing of like specific songs and sections and moments. The ballet thing was like interpretive dance, so they were all just kind of doing their thing while Fish is just jamming out this insane Harry Hood. And
Cool.
then 2001 is just a funk groove where everyone's just kind of being chased around on stage. And then Tweezer was like the only real like choreography was like the right dancers popping out and singing their international verse of Tweezer. And then
Hmm.
from there, it was just people just jumping out on stage and running around during like crazy people during the Tweezer jam. So
Yeah.
like the band was able to play like the band, which doesn't always happen. And they were able to tell this cool story, and they were also able to, which they haven't done a lot of, they were able to kind of give that moment to some of their most beloved songs. Like besides Gamehenge, more often than not, the New Year's, and they did one like 10, 12 years ago where they rode out on like their old tour bus, so to speak. It was like an old school bus, and they played on top of it. And they
Hmm.
played like an early Fish set, like hockey stick microphone stand and everything. So like that was another
Nice.
time where like the old catalog kind of got its love during the New Year's. But more often than not, the New Year's gag is kind of built around newer material.
Hmm.
And so this year they were able to like really, give new perspective and new love to some of the, obviously most beloved classic songs,
Yeah.
in their canon. So yeah,
Well,
it
and then
was
they ripped out like a 30-minute tweezer, right?
yeah,
Like,
it was
wasn't
I
it?
mean it was ridiculous.
It was
And then the
awesome.
Piper
Yeah.
after that was ridiculous. Like that was the whole thing. But by the end of Piper, I was like, I kind of want this to be over.
Uh-huh.
I was
Tired.
so exhausted and just so like experiencing all of that because this one was so sort of just like all over the place and like just people running around on stage and you're just like, what the fuck is going on up there? Like it was a lot. Like to be able to focus on what's happening visually and musically
Hmm.
and stay in tune with all of it is exhausting. The physical exhaustion is the physical exhaustion. Standing there for 5 hours
Sure.
straight, whatever, 6 hours straight, whatever it ends up being, is one thing. But like really trying to like ignore all the chaos around you of just the audience, because like I was in the GA pit, so it's just that's its own madness. And then like really just trying to like harness and focus all of my energy to what's going on stage. It was so draining. And then by the end of it, I was just like, thank God this is over. Like, I love this band so much, but Jesus Christ, that was too
Yeah.
much.
I know the feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, that's awesome though. That sounds fucking epic.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
nutty evening for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well.
I think, for those guys, it's they've always been such an anomaly in the music industry, right? Since day one. The
Mm-hmm.
way that they've existed, the way that they've approached touring,
Everything, yeah.
the way that they've approached the business, you know, everything that they do is so unique to them. And these New Year's things, I mean, the fact that this isn't like the most widely publicized concert event of the year every year blows my mind, because now that
Mm-hmm.
they're starting to get more attention in a more mainstream sort of way, it still just goes overlooked. And
Yeah.
like, to me, that's what makes it even more beautiful, is like they don't give a fuck if they get their flowers for any of this. They're doing it for the 20,000 people that are standing in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep doing it over and over and over again. And they keep finding new ways to impress the 20,000 people in front of them over and over and over again. And
Yep.
it's like,
Yeah.
40 plus years in the game. And it's like, they're just like, nah, we're not done yet. We got
Yeah,
more to
they
say.
were like,
Yeah.
one of my friends, I was telling him, I was like, this has got to be like close to their 20th year playing New Year's at Madison Square Garden. And they were like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that like Fish was the Madison Square Garden New Year's show, basically, like
Yeah.
every year. I was like, yeah, for like a long time.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's a major thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, yeah. So
Well,
thanks,
shit.
Fish. Thanks, boys, for putting on very, very, very. I mean, and here's the thing, musically, they're better now than they have been probably since a year started with a one. So this year has been like a breakout, standout year musically, from start to finish. And
I was listening to some of the New Year's run shows, just like, the little bits here and there, but everything sounded phenomenal.
yeah,
Yeah.
so they must be on peptides or something. I don't know, man. But
Yeah.
they're fucking. They found those longevity peptides and they're like, all
Yeah.
right, we're 40 years old again. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, they've earned it.
Yeah. Ah, Jesus. All right. Well, I think that's enough rambling for today. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go. I'm probably not gonna do anything today, actually. I feel very unmotivated. So,
Nice.
Dorian, good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you again too. It's been it's like weird, one of those, when we have like a 2-3 week absence now, or it's like,
Yeah.
I see, I'm like, it feels like it's been forever, man.
Well, we'll keep it going for a little bit. We'll see how the schedule allows
Yeah.
starting next month.
Sure.
We'll talk about that next week. I'm not ready to talk about it yet. So,
Yeah, whenever, yeah.
news.
My lips are sealed. Yeah.
Breaking news. Stay tuned next week. Cliffhanger.
That's right. There you go. Perfect.
All right. Thanks, guys. It's been the Stroke of Midnight.